From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, Boston Chris here with the #1 resource for independent music. It's the ETX Rock Show, and it's episode 314 with an artist that we just met like 3 or 4 weeks ago at the Texas Regional Radio Music Awards, which is a mouthful. It's really hard to say that. Can you imagine if you were like at the bar?
I never really thought about that.
The Texas Regional Radio Music Awards.
That's why we call it the
T3R.
T3R. Yeah, T3R and T-triple-R.
Yep. So much easier just to say T-triple-R, especially when you're about, 7 Coronas in.
Oh, yeah.
T-triple-R. But we're sitting here with Melissa Brooke, and Melissa's all the way from Port Aransas, Texas, which is like 6 hours from here. And
sure. I'll take your word for it on that.
I think it's like 6 to 8. I mean,
something like
who's
that.
Counting.
Yeah.
But she's in smack dab in the middle of her radio tour. The current single is Beast. It's number 32 in Texas.
Yes.
And she brought her guitar. She is going to play some songs, including the current single today. But the first song, tell us a little bit about the first song that you're going to do today.
So the first song is called No Turning Back. And that is, I think we're going to make it the title track of my EP. I'm not really sure yet.
I like that.
But it's kind of like the unofficial official rule if you're a country singer that you have to have a dancing song. Yeah. It's like the unofficial official rule. Especially in Texas. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of like my take on it. It's my country influence in what I do, as well as growing up on an island. And when I was a senior in high school even and was old enough to get into the dance clubs and everything, we never had any in Port A because we're an island. Like, you had to drive 45 minutes into Corpus, and nobody wanted to do that. So we would back our trucks and cars up on the beach past mile marker 20 where you could park on the water, and we'd turn the radios up and build bonfires, and that's where we would dance and have our little country club.
Fun,
it was. So that's kind of like I incorporated the dancing part of that into the song as well.
That's awesome. So first time ever, guys, in the ETX Rocks living room. It's the one and only Melissa Brooke with No Turning Back. Y'all check it out.
It would be nice if you would come over here and whisper pretty things in my ear. You would say that you love to dance, then you stand up and take When I take your hand, I hold you close while we rock down with the band and you know there's no turning back. Well, I see him getting up and he starts to walk my way. He grabs me by the hand and he starts to say, baby, let's take this night 2 steps at a time as we dance along to that old time country song. When I take your hand, I hold you close while we rock down with the band and you know there's no turning back. So let's take this night 2 steps at a time as we dance along to that old Cody John dance song. When you take my hand, you'll hold me close while we rock down with the band and you know there's no turning back. Well, I know there's no turning back. Yeah, I know there'll be no turning back.
And we are back again. That was No Turning Back from Melissa Brooke. And man, we're super stoked to have you here.
I am so happy to be here.
Now, Dylan Steen is, I consider him the radio promotion bulldog of Texas. I'm sorry, not East Texas, but of Texas. The man is tenacious when it comes to promoting singles.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, Dylan has believed in us for a long time. Thank you, Dylan, for that, because it puts us on the map when an artist like Melissa comes to our living room and records with us, because we're not terrestrial radio. We're just a podcast. But we have passion and love for the music just the same. But Dylan has kind of put us on the map as far as radio tours. So thank you, Dylan, for that. And it's because of Dylan that not just Dylan's artists, but all the other artists come now too. So thank you also to Melissa and her bodyguard for making it out here today. But Melissa, you took a break.
I did. I took about a 3.5 year break from music for a little bit. I wanted to focus on my writing. So my first album, Texas Ruby.
We're talking 2012.
2012 release.
Melissa was 18 then.
I was 18, and that was when my first record came out. And when I pushed those singles and everything, it was all about my rodeo days. And I still rodeo, but I was young. I was 17 and 18 when I recorded, and I didn't have any drinking songs because I was underage, and I was a good kid. But
except for when she was on mile marker 20 out on the beach.
You don't stop that. I was a good kid. But I wanted to, when I hit 21, I wanted to work more on creating more songs that weren't just rodeo and they weren't just younger, that the older crowd could listen to as well, because I grew up listening to classic country, as well as I also grew up listening to classic rock. Classic rock had a big, and still does have a big influence on my music, and Def Leppard and Led Zeppelin are the two main bands that I've constantly got playing.
Wow.
Besides my all-time favorite artist, she's from England. Her name is Ellie Goulding.
Okay.
Like I have her logo tattooed on my wrist. Like
she's badass.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know who she is.
Of course.
A lot of people don't. It hurts my soul. But her listening to classic rock and listening to her all the time, it just made me have a different sound, and I wanted to work so hard on perfecting who Melissa Brooke was. And I wanted to not really rebrand myself, but I wanted to mature myself.
I think it's a re-evolve.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. That's the word I was looking for.
That's probably not a word, but it makes sense here.
But I wanted to evolve as not only as a person, but as my songwriting and my musical ability. So I took that time. I worked as a veterinary technician for that time. I played shows still, but I focused really hard on writing. And I got into the studio and I recorded Beast with my engineer, who's been working with me since I was 16. And we finished it, and we sat together, and we just, I remember he has a couch like this in the studio, and we just kind of looked at each other, and he turned around in his chair, and we just looked at each other, and he was like, holy shit. And I was like, I know. And he was like, wow. Like, we just both had a moment like, we just did that. Like, that's a freaking awesome song. Like, whoa. And he goes, are you ready? He goes, because this is it.
Yeah, and this is really risky. If you're just hearing about Melissa for the first time now, in 2012, and I'm assuming into 2013, you released 7 singles from that first record that went top 50 in Texas.
Yes, every single one of those songs
and
hit
so
top 50.
Her response to that was, let's change it.
Yeah.
That's
basically
risky as hell.
Yeah, I got a lot, especially from my parents. Oh my gosh, my mom is like the biggest worrywart, and she's like, Melissa, this doesn't sound exactly traditional country anymore. This doesn't sound like your first album. And I was like, I know, I have anxiety with it already. Like, don't. But at the same time, like, it was country. It sounds country. It has country lyrics. But in the very beginning of Beast, that very first guitar lick sounds
so
like Santana.
Man. Yeah.
You know, it has that Santana flavor, and the breakdown.
Spooky.
Yeah, it has
it
has the classic rock breakdown, but it also has the undertones and, again, the flavor, the all-around flavor of the classic country. It's different.
It's so cool, man. I think with Off Camera, I said it's Leanne Rimes meets Pat Benatar, this song.
I know, and that made me feel really good.
So cool. It's so different than anything that's on the scene in Texas right now.
Yeah,
male or female.
That was another thing that made me nervous too, because like you said, I had not heard any other song that was quite like mine. And so that was another thing. It was either people are going to love it or people are going to hate it. There's not going to be any in between. And I'm not going to lie, I like burst into tears my second week out on radio when Dylan sent me an email and he goes, your song just jumped up 40 spots in week number 2. And I like ugly cried, like full on ugly cried, because I was waiting for people to be like, but it's had the opposite reaction, and it makes me feel so good.
Now, as a Texas artist, how much of a role do you feel that Texas itself allows for a song like that to be successful, just because of the freedom that exists here in the state?
You know
musically?
What? If you would have asked me this question before I released Beast, my answer would have been completely different. But now that I've released this, I've learned that Texas music and Texas country, they take their artists, the people that are creating music. If the person, it doesn't matter. Like I said, my first album was very traditional country, very rodeo. And if my fans that I had before loved me before, they didn't want to hear what other people had to say. They want to hear it themselves.
Right.
And if they like it, they push the hell out of it.
Right.
And they push it hard.
Right.
This song would not be 32 without the fans that I had before giving me the new fans that I'm getting now from Beast. But the old Melissa Brooke fans, like, they're family, and they're like, you need to listen. They're like, well, we don't know who that is. They're like, well, you're about to learn. And they do that with other people, with the Sam Riggs, with the Bree Bagwells, with the William Beckmans.
Yeah.
Anybody, they're like, this is completely different. I know you just listened to a bluesy artist, but listen to this guy. He sounds like 50s.
Right.
Or listen to this girl. She's got rock in her. And everybody's, they embrace it.
Good example, Susan Ammons.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that girl.
Dylan works with her as well.
That
very,
girl
very
is amazing.
Bluesy, swampy, but
yeah.
very traditional when she wants to be. And see, that's what I love about living in the state of Texas as a music fan. Everything is so diverse within one genre.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, it's Texas country, but you've got red dirt, and you've got Americana, and you've got rockin' country, and you've got you've got the Hat Acts, all these different people, but it's all country, and they're all on the same chart. But there's room for all of y'all there too, and that's kind of where I was going with that question for you.
Yeah. I was doing a radio interview in Oklahoma, and the interview the interview went great, and the DJ, he asked me, he said, so are you rock or are you country or, and I look, and like it was crazy because like at that same moment it was just like you said, I could answer, I'm Texas country. We are
Well, the
everything.
answer to that question is yes. Are you rock? Are you country? Yes.
Exactly. I am very much so. Yes, but it's crazy. It's a big swimming pool of differentness.
No, it's true.
Whatever. I'll let it go.
I like it. It's true.
And but it fits. It all goes together. It is. We are all the same genre, and it's insane.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
So you take a step back. You've got all this success with the first album, 7 straight singles, top 50. Now you take a step back. You're trying to grow up within your music, I assume, at this point.
Yes.
So you're probably really searching hard for who Melissa is as an artist. So there had to be some trials and tribulations through that. Just going from the rodeo sound to where you are now. That doesn't happen overnight.
It does not.
So what's that struggle like from a songwriting perspective going on for you during that period?
Well, it's still very kind of difficult. I have a melody that goes through my head, and I have the words that go through my head, but sometimes they may not match. The melody could be super happy and the words can fit it, but be
the
super
words
sad.
are not happy. Yeah,
like Beast.
Yeah.
Like we go back to Beast. Beast is a very like if you just if you don't even pay attention to what the words are saying, you just listen to the voice and you listen to the music. It's like, oh heck yeah, like I'm gonna bang my head and I'm gonna go do some squats or run a mile or two. But then you listen and you're like, oh, this poor girl. Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
It's different. I don't know. I had to. There's a point where you have to stop trying so hard. And that was something that was really hard for me because my anxiety doesn't let me not overthink things. And you just kind of have to take a step back. And I would start writing a song and I would think about it so hard and I would just leave it alone. And I wouldn't even touch my guitar. I'd leave it alone for maybe a day or two. And then I'd go back to it and I'm like, oh, well, here's why it didn't work. 1 or 2 words changed and boom.
Yeah.
So going from the rodeo scene to who Melissa Brooke now, the fast answer would be for me to stop trying. Or stop trying so hard.
During that time, was there an overwhelming urge just to be different from 18-year-old Melissa?
Yes.
Why?
Oh gosh, I wish I knew. That's a really good question. I really couldn't tell you. I guess from the time, since school up to that point, I think I was maybe 21 or 22 when that moment hit me. I was the good kid. Like I didn't take a drink of alcohol until after graduation.
Right.
Like I did straight A's. I played every sport. Like my friends would go out and I'd be like, I'm going to go home and read and go to bed at 8:00. Like that was me. And I got to the point, my late teenage rebellion, I guess, and I was like, I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to be, and it's not that I didn't want to be good. It's just I don't want to be known as sweet little innocent Melissa. Like I'm 22, people still treat me like I'm a kid. Like I want to be different, but I don't want to be so different that people say that my kids can't go listen to you. Because I still sing Disney songs at my shows. I will still bust out The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. Like I still do it. But there was, I guess I wanted to prove something to myself as much as I wanted to prove to other people.
That's a great answer. That's really cool.
You are asking some really good questions.
Hey, I told you, Melissa Brooke, this was not your typical radio
Yeah,
style.
you weren't kidding. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm ready. feel like I'm on like a advanced Ellen show, but with Boston Chris.
Oh man, that's a lot to live up to. Ellen DeGeneres. I can't dance anymore. I'm old, bad knees, you know what I'm saying? I do like kissing women, though. So, there is that. We have that in common.
There you go.
I'm leaving it in. I don't care, y'all. I don't care. She's not going to sponsor us, ever. So, whatever.
She could, you know.
So, back to the songwriting, because that's
Yes.
where, the reason why we started this show almost 3 years ago was because I was at a show, and I was like, what does she mean by that? And so I was like, let's start a show and ask her. So that's how this came to be.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's what I do a lot. I ask those questions that people might want to know about how.
Yeah,
And
go
so when
for
I
it.
see Melissa Brooke having success at a young age, and then she changes everything and disappears, basically, because that's what happened.
I did.
You just went away.
I did.
What happened to your fan base at that point? Because I've seen your fan base in 2019. They are very activated.
They're very activated. You know, this is the only way I know how to explain it. I was talking to my mom about this the other day, actually. It's like somebody okay, you watch Futurama, right? Have you seen Futurama?
I've seen a few episodes.
Okay,
yeah.
well, you know how Fry fell into that tank and it froze him for 1,000 years, and then he
Cryogenics. Or
that
whatever,
one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Basically, my fan base, the Melissa Brooke fan base, did that. When I fell off the face of the earth, they didn't fall off and they didn't go away. They just kind of pressed pause on themselves.
Wow.
It was, no matter where I went after that, even if I didn't make big show announcements, if I went up to Fort Worth, if I went to Oklahoma, New Mexico, I had all those fans there. But if I wasn't active, they weren't either, but they weren't gone. They were there. And
Did you lose some support?
I think a little bit I might have. I mean, you know what, I probably did. It'd be silly for me to say no that I didn't, because I was gone for so long. And the biggest fear that I had was that everybody had completely forgot about me, because I mean, for all intents and purposes, I was gone, and I wouldn't have blamed them.
Right.
But when I came back out and I released Beast, in that couple of weeks, it's like the Melissa Brooke fan base ran off with a field. And then I whistled, and they came back and brought hundreds more. Where did you find me?
Do you feel like because of your hiatus that the people that stuck with you, they were still engaged, they were still followed to you? Those are the ones that didn't hit unlike. Do you feel like that actually helped you?
Yes.
Because they stuck with you even through
there were definitely
the abyss, I guess, basically.
There were definitely times. So, you know what? If we're getting into this, I'm have no problems talking about it. I went through a really bad depression. I got through a point where I was trying to figure out who I was as an artist at this point. And it got me into a depression. What if I'm not going to be as good enough as Texas Ruby? What if nobody's going to like the new stuff I put out? What if I should just stay this? What if? And it got bad, and I didn't write for a little bit. I didn't play for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then I started thinking too, like, what if people won't like me anymore? What if because I'm not releasing anything, I'm gonna just get unfollows, and people won't play my music, even my old stuff anymore. But then I looked, and after a couple of months, and I started taking better care of myself and telling myself, no, like, I can't think like that, and I pushed myself out of that fog. I played a little show at a little pizza parlor called Mesquite Street Pizza and Pasta Company in Corpus Christi in downtown. And they, nobody really advertised except for the day before. They just said, Melissa Brooke's going to be here 6 to 9, right before open mic comedy.
And did we mention pizza?
We did mention pizza. And I show up, and there is a line out the door.
Wow.
Of people that hadn't heard from me in so long that they wanted to show up, and that place stayed packed, and people were even sitting outside looking through the window, didn't care if they couldn't get in. And I was like, whoa. So that was kind of a moment where I went to a point where I was afraid that I would lose my fans, and from that point on I was like, no, there's no way. These guys they're stuck with me, and I'm stuck with them, and I don't care.
And that's honestly part of the creative mind is self-doubt, depression.
Right.
You put yourself in that own dark place a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it a lot with artists that haven't really found who they are yet.
It's a struggle. It really is. But once you get the hook of even like the beginning little crumbs of who you think that you're going to be as a musician or as an artist, it gets so much better from that point. And I will tell you that straight away. It gets so much better. That one little good idea, even if you haven't written it down completely yet, that one good idea that somebody goes, oh, wow, that's a good idea. All of a sudden, boom, like you just get boosted and you're like, aha, So my ideas are good.
Yeah.
And then you run with it, and it just gets better.
So where are you now? With all of that, where are you?
I'm kind of like in the middle of like a euphoric state
Yeah.
and a confusion state.
Because as an outsider, as a fan of Melissa Brooke, you look free.
I am. I feel that's where the euphoric state comes in. I have never felt so good. I really haven't. I have not felt so good about myself as a creative musician and as an artist than I do now.
Great.
And it's
So you never stop evolving, you never
No.
stop changing, but who are you now? So we know who you were then, so who are you now? And I don't want to hear you just say, oh, I like classic rock. Like, I know you know what I'm talking about, so who are you?
Well, that's a really loaded question.
It surely is, I know.
You know what? I still don't know completely yet.
Really?
I have ideas and I have feelings, but there's also other directions that pull me.
Yeah.
Right now, what I tell you is that I am and will always be a Texas country artist. Always. But with that little bit of grunge in there.
Nice. A little bit of grunge. I like it.
I mean, I can't help it. I growl at least once during a song. Like, the creativity that I come up with, it's always gonna be like, I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. That's me.
And it's Melissa Brooke. It's episode 314, guys. Super stoked to have her here. But we're going to be right back after this message from one of our former artists. Y'all check it out.
I'm Holly Joe. Thank you so much for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS show.
All right, we are back again. It's episode 314. So did you forget it was an interview, or are you still...
I did forget it was an interview for 0.5 seconds.
So, again, man, we love telling the stories behind the music. And I saw hiatus on your webpage, and I've seen that quite a lot from other artists that just... a lot of times it's caused by writer's block or just something between the brain and the hand, basically, you know. And that doesn't seem like it was the case for you. It was just you needed to step back because you didn't like where things were going for you, and you didn't want to be something you weren't.
Exactly.
And so I'm glad you had the maturity at the time to take a step back and say, you know what, let's figure this out before we go any further. Because you would have been doing yourself a disservice by...
Right, and I was so terrified of wanting to quit. Because, you know, you hear that sometimes. You see artists that are absolutely amazing and they're so talented, and then they go through something and they can't get out of it, and they just hate what they do, and they go through the motions because they feel like they have to. And I never, ever, ever wanted to feel like that for a second. When I was in high school, before I got started in music, I did theater. I did plays. And one thing that has stuck with me, and I hear it in my head before almost every single show, whether it's acoustic or full band or small or big, my theater teacher used to tell me my very first play I ever did, I was shaking and I was sweating, and I felt like I was going to puke everywhere. And I was 16 years old. I was a sophomore in high school. And he came up to me and he goes, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "You got butterflies?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Good." He said, "The day those butterflies go away, you quit. Don't you ever step up on this stage again when those butterflies are gone, because that means you don't care."
Wow.
And that's been in my head. Shout out to Mr. Mott. It's been in my head ever since. And when I started feeling down and started feeling like the old Melissa Brooke maybe might not be me anymore, and I started losing, not really losing, but they started fading just a little bit, I was like, oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I never wanted to get to that point.
Wow.
So that's where
That's awesome. So what's the advice? Because you've gone through this, you've lived through it, and you've had success on both sides of the tunnel. So what's the advice you might have for somebody out there?
The times that you feel like you want to give up, don't. The times that you feel like it's either too much that you don't want to get out of bed, or you don't want to play that next show, or you're counting down the seconds to the minutes to the hours of how much you have left on a show, or is this good enough? Is this song good enough? Are people going to like my song? Push through that. Take that time to realize if you think it's good. If you step out of your own skin and think that other people will like it, stick with it. Don't doubt yourself, because the first time you doubt yourself is the first of many times you will. Keep trying until you feel like yourself that this is where you need to be.
Very nice. So Melissa's evolution process brought her to Beast.
It did.
And we're going to play Beast on the show right here. So is there anything else you need to tell us about the song to kind of preempt it?
Basically, you know what? The same thing that I told my friend the song I wrote for. Sometimes you feel like you're the person that you're in love with and they broke your heart. You think that you're going to spend the rest of your life with them. But you realize that they're toxic. When you take a step back and you look at all the heartbreak that you went through and you take those rose-colored glasses off, the person that you thought your soulmate was just a monster. They were just a beast.
And here's Beast by Melissa Brooke live in the ETX Rocks living room. Y'all check it out.
Because you're heaven on the eyes, but hell on my heart. I don't know why I let you tear me apart. We were in love, I thought at least. But after all this time, because you're heaven on the eyes, but hell on my heart. I don't know why I let you tear me apart. We were in love, I thought at least. But after all this time, I love the beast. I love the beast. I love the beast.
All right, so we are back once again. That was Beast, number 32 in Texas as we record this right now. It's probably going to be higher by the time this episode comes out.
Man, I sure hope so.
I'm thinking top 20. What's your highest you've ever been?
32.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got that down.
I'm tied with the highest ever single I ever had, which was Sticky Situation.
Oh, you've got this.
So, yeah.
We are, 4 days from Friday, and Friday you will have your new record. No doubt. Oh, there's no doubt. You got this.
I know.
It's all good. This is a killer song.
Thank you.
It really is.
I am so beyond proud of it. Like, Oh, I'm so proud of it. It's ridiculous.
So where do you go from here? You've got this dynamite hit on your hands.
Who's to say
The
that
pressure has to be on.
Who's to say that there's not better songs than that one that's
I'm
coming?
sure there is.
Or
I've
who's
heard
to
all three
say-
of your songs today, so.
Or who's to say that, there's not more variety or more songs? I mean, it doesn't stop here. It will never stop here.
Very cool. I like it. So once again, guys, it's been episode 314. Melissa Brooke's very first appearance on the show. Hopefully not the last.
Oh, definitely not.
Every time you have a single when you're in East Texas, please come by and see us.
You got it.
Open invite. And I say that all the time. If you happen to be an artist out there and you're promoting a single, etxrocks@gmail.com.
Get in touch with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. But if people are hearing about Melissa Brooke for the first time, where can they follow along with the journey?
So you can go to my website. It's the easiest place to do this is mbrookemusic.com. That is MBROOKE music.com.
We will put a link in the description below for that as well.
Oh, nice. All my social media outlets are on there, on the top right corner, from Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. Follow me, talk to me. That is the biggest thing that I ask, especially since I go to new towns all the time and I'm looking and playing in new places. Having a friendly face or two is definitely a bonus, and I love just chatting with everybody anyways. My brand new single, Beast, you can buy it on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, literally anywhere that you can find and get music, you will find my stuff. My tour dates are on there. We're about to be opening up an online merch store, so you'll be able to get merch from wherever you're at.
Yeah.
You don't
Even
have
if
to
you're in
just come-
Helsinki.
Yeah, you don't even have to come to a show. And then of course, getting back in studio and finishing up the EP that'll
Can't
hopefully
wait.
be released at
Purple
the
vinyl.
end of summer. Yes, and I'm hopefully thinking about doing like a little special, printing out a limited edition number of purple vinyls for
Hopefully
those.
we can get one.
So
Look good in here.
it would.
Make a statement.
It would look really cool in here.
It's Melissa Brooke. It's mbrookemusic.com. Again, there's a link in the description below for that. It's a one-stop shop. You can get a link to her single, all her social media, her tour information. There's a really good bio on there as well that you can read up a little bit more about Melissa and what her journey has been like thus far. For everything else, follow Snapchat.
Yes, Snapchat and Instagram.
You'll learn about dogs and food.
That's
what
it.
Instagram is for, right?
That's exactly what it's for, I think.
Someone had to be sitting around like a boardroom somewhere. Man, there's so much social media out there, but nobody's done anything for food and pets. We got this. We'll call it Instagram.
I mean, that's perfect, and I'm not mad about it.
So make sure you're following along with the artist. Super, super important. Again, I say it on every show, but I think one of the coolest ways that you can support an artist that has music for sale, buy the song, put it on your device, and then don't play it. Instead of playing it on your phone, stream it on Spotify or YouTube, Apple Music, wherever you can stream music. And the artist is getting it twice now. You've purchased the song, and now you're streaming the song, so you get it on both ends.
I like this guy. That's a really cool, that's cool. I never thought about that.
Well,
that way.
Spotify spins means something now. There's
Yeah, it
actually
does.
charts for that and all of that stuff now. So, I mean, if you're a big fan of an artist, and I know you have an activated fan base, your phone is charging or whatever while you're asleep, throw it on Spotify. Put Beast on a loop while you're asleep.
There you go.
Imagine how many spins you can get out of Beast while you're asleep.
A lot.
It'd be a lot. So the song's, 3 minutes? No, we're not.
I was about to say,
again.
oh gosh.
We're not doing that anymore. We already figured it out. 4,320 times if you call it 60 times in 20 minutes.
Is that the real number?
Yeah, 4320.
Oh my gosh, you make my head hurt.
We figured it out off camera. I don't know, maybe we were on camera. I don't remember because I'm old. But yeah, definitely follow everything she's got going on. If you are tuned into the ETX Rocks show for the first time, thank you for spending some time with us. We're located on all social media at ETX Rocks. You will not find us on Snapchat, though. Sorry about that. Never could figure out that junk. I just don't get it. Like, snap me. What? What does that mean? Like,
It's like a text message, but in a picture, it's in
I
like a
get it.
video.
Yeah, I know. But no, I'm just not going to do that. Like, I remember MySpace,
I do too, actually.
They're still around, you know.
I know. I need to figure out how to get my music back up on there.
Why? There's like
Why
4 people
not?
there.
Do you know how cool it would be to be like, by the way, you can find me on MySpace.com.
Let's bring MySpace
Melissa
back,
Brooke.
Melissa Brooke. Let's do it. You and me. We'll
All
do
right,
it.
we got this.
We got this. They'll just it'll be like charity. They'll just like transfer ownership.
Nobody's
over.
even gonna click the link. It's gonna stay blue.
No, we're just gonna have to come up with like clickbait, like the best clickbait ever. You know, come to my MySpace. You'll see hamster races or something. You know.
RV racing.
Yes, hamsters racing RVs.
See, right there.
You would click on that, wouldn't you? I know you would. If you're tuned in on the YouTube, make sure you are hitting the subscription button on there. That is honestly the best way you can support us as a project. And make sure you're hitting that bell that's there too, because I guess that notifies you when we have new content. YouTube likes to add like all kinds of different stuff to click on. It used to be just click subscribe. Now you have to click subscribe, ring the bell, do a pirouette or something. I don't know. It's like they have you do all this kind of stuff. I don't get it. But yeah, do all of that stuff because basically the more subs we have on YouTube, the more we are put into the recommended sections of YouTube. And that's super important on getting music fans to listen to the artists that we have featured on the show, like Melissa and like 500 others we've had on the show, including people like Vince Gill and Ronnie Millsap and Joe Nichols. And
What?
that's right, you've been on the same show as them now.
That's freaking cool.
Gene Watson's been here. Whispering Bill Anderson.
What?
Yeah.
Blowing my mind right now. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, we've been blessed. But you can find all of that stuff on our YouTube. That's why you want to subscribe, because you never know who's going to be here. Also, you can find our webpage. It's www.etxrocks.show. Remember, it's a .show, not .com. Very important. We have an internet radio playlist there that y'all can listen to, and Melissa's song should be on there very shortly as well. And as we've said on this show for 314 episodes now, we want to thank you guys out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
that's right.
It starts with a kiss, ends up in pain. We had a fight, and then you left calling out my name. Fast forward a week, sitting on your couch. You say it's alright, but I know we're gonna crash down. And I don't want you to be the first thing on my mind, and the last thing when I go to sleep at night. I don't know how much I can take, and I don't wanna cry when I hear your name and feel that bullet in my heart again. Oh baby, it's time to let me go and let me be. But what's a girl like me to do when my heart is screaming out for you? And just when I thought you were the one, I'm staring at the end of a loaded gun. But my love was never bulletproof, and I don't want you to be the first thing on my mind, and the last thing when I go to sleep at night. I don't know how much I can take. I don't wanna cry when I hear your name and feel that bullet in my heart again. Oh baby, it's time to let me go and let me be. I never imagined that I'd fall flat, being pinned down all night. I've gotta leave no turning back. 'Cause I don't want you to be the first thing on my mind and the last thing when I go to sleep at night. I don't know how much I can take, and I don't wanna cry when I hear your name and feel that bullet in my heart again. Come on, baby, it's time to let me go and let me be. Just let me be. Come on, baby, just let me be. Oh, yeah.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style